Right, so hello everyone. We will wait for a minute to join others to join. After a minute, we will start the session. So keep patience. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Ankesh Sharma. I'm working with Programmers.io from past 3 more years, and I'm working as an IBMI as well as EDI developer here. So today we have a session on CL programming and concepts, and we will also include the data area in it. In the previous sessions, you have learned about the CL programming commands. So in today's session, we are going to discuss some essential components of CL programming, how effectively we can handle files and errors in CL programming on IBM system, and especially we will explore the file operations using two commands like OVRDBF and Open Query File. So might be you are new to these commands. So after this session, you will be much more familiar with this command. So keep patience on the session. And also lastly, we will see the methods to handle the errors gracefully in CL programming. So we are moving to the agenda, like what all things we will gonna cover in this session. So we will start with some introductory part in which we will see what exactly the CL rules and the use of CL in IBMI system, how we can effectively utilize CL programming to efficiently complete our task. So we will start with some introduction part following with the data area. So we will see like the operations and type of data area, what exactly the data area is. So we will see that. After that, we will see some file operation, and that is really a crucial step when we are doing the file operations. So we have to keep in mind like the file operations like read, write, and update and delete. Like this type of operations we usually think in our mind when we are doing when we are saying file operations. So we will cover that. After that, some error handling, that is really important in programming. We have to make sure the code is error free and has the limited, or we can say minimum errors in the code. And we have to make sure like everything is set up to for us so that we can handle the errors effectively if that occurs also. So we will see the concept of error handling in CL programming using a command which is mon message. So you will see more about in this session. Following with the two major commands, which is overdbf or override database file. So we will see some examples of overdbf command and open query file, that is used for querying the file operations. So we will see those, and also we will see the combination of the overdbf and open query file in CL program. So we will see some examples for the same as well. At last, we will conclude our session with the Q&A session. So I request everyone to keep patience. Whatever doubts they have, you all have, just note it down or just mark it so that at the end, when we have the Q&A part, so you can ask your queries. Okay. So we are starting with the first agenda point, which is introduction to the CL programming. When I'm saying CL, you all can relate this within scripting language that is used in IBMI system to manage the task as well as the jobs. And usually it is widely used for the automation of the processes and handle the file operations, managing the jobs and the workflows. You can see like unlike the other higher level languages, CL is more focused on controlling the processes and the operations as well. Like it is interfering with the operations to execute the task effectively. So this is quite new for all of you, but I will try to explain is as much as easy you can understand. So it is also saying like it is managing the resources like file, device, and jobs. So quite simple, like it will execute the programs, handle the jobs and resources, we can say, and we will see the more on this. So the next point is key characteristics of CL. So when we are saying key characteristics, it means like what exactly this CL. So CL is an procedural language, we can say, like it has a step-by-step process. So um, the primary use of the CL is like how these jobs are running. We can handle those jobs, and we can manage the program process as well. And also we can include file handling in this. So all these tasks, or we can say all these components, are majorly using the CL. And like the last point, which is saying indirectly with the system resources and automation route lines. So as I mentioned, like it is automating the exact task and the workflows of the process. So that is the thing of CL. We will learn more about the beauty of CL. So let's see why we use the CL. So as I mentioned two times, like it is for the job automation. And why how this job automation handles. So like automate some backup jobs, batch processing, file manipulation. Maybe you all are quite new to these all terms, but when you are learning the more on the AS400 side, these are like the common terms for the AS400 person, like the backup jobs, the batch processing, and the file manipulations. So all those things we can automate by CL programming. And resource management. So files, library, device, all the operations perform on these type of resources are quite under the resource management part of CL. Program execution, like we can in the script we can handle the program flow, like how the multiple programs will execute, how the errors will be handled in the program. Basically overall control of the program will be handled in program execution part. And not only this, we have much more use of CL, but we are considering the main important use of CL here. So we have some programs as well, but before moving to the programs, let me tell you the basic structure, what exactly CL contains. So CL contains some commands that you already learned about the previous session. So some commands, when we are saying commands, these are the building blocks of CL programming. Like we have some commands, so you will see these in the further sessions, like send message and display job. So these are some common commands used in the AS400 system. So we can include these type of commands in CL programming. Variables. When we are saying variables, like these are some user variables which are, or we can say work variables that we include in our programming to effectively or basically change the style of programming. We can utilize these variables to perform the operations, to manipulate something, to manipulate the operations as well. Like on the file level, when we are saying on the file level, we are storing some information in these variables that is manipulating, and we are doing some operations on these variables. So you all heard about the variables, how we can utilize and effectively use the variables in programming. So that is quite similar for CL. The last building block is the logic part. We can write the exact programming logic here using the loops concept, conditional statements like if, do, select, and error handling using mon message. So we will learn about this in the further slides as well. Um, Typical use of CL, like as we already discussed, like the file processing. So read, write, overwrite files, automate the task, the system task, job scheduling, and some other, like we can include the CL with the RPG programming and SQL. Like we can include the concept of RPG and SQL in CL. So that is the beauty of CL programming. So before moving to the next slide, I have some basic programs that I want to show you. So here is the first program. Um, like program is doing nothing, just we are showing something on the user screen. So quite simple program. Right, just a second, it will load in a minute. Okay, so CL programs start with the PGM, we can say command, or we can say the keyword. So we will start with the PGM and with the end PGM. So it shows like the starting of the CL program used with PGM and ends with the end PGM. All right. So in that, what exactly we write the actual script? The actual script in this case, it is contains the command DCL, which is used for declaring a variable. When we are saying declaring a variables, we can use this variable in the entire CL program for manipulation purpose, for operating something, for doing some operations on that. So these are the kind of things we can do on the variables. So the same manner we will do on these variables as well. One thing that we all have to focus is this and sign. So in the CL program, to differentiate from the common, uh, we can say keywords, the variables will start with the ampersand sign. So when we are saying this var1, so we can say ampersand var1. So that is the name of variable. It is a type of character and it is 100 length of characters. So in this way, like we can declare this variables and this chgvar, that is change variable command. So we are just doing the um, operation on the variable in which we are just storing some value in it. So in this case, it is storing welcome to CLLE programming session by PIO. And lastly, this send PGM message. So this message, or we can say this command, is generally used to show the message to the user screen. So um, let me show you how we can run this. And it is running on the console screen, so that will be quite good to see all of you, because that is the beauty of the legacy system. So if I open it here as well, so you all can see the same program written in here as well. The same, we are just using the call command to call this CL program. Otherwise, the shortcut method, which is using C, we can directly call it. So I'm doing just C, or for now, like I can write call. All right. So here you can see, hello PIO, welcome to CLL programming. So compile this again, call it again. So you can see, welcome to CLL programming by PIO. So see, the command send PGM message will show the message on the screen. But if we want to see on the whole screen, we can use the different command, which is snd usr pgm, that is used to show the console screen. And on the console screen, you can see a huge big screen of the out with the output. So that is really helpful when we are doing the testing. So you can use the other command, which is snd usr msg. Quite simple. So um, this program is quite simple. Let's see some complex program on CL with the parameter passing, because it is understood, or everyone can relate this, like it is not every time when we have the variable information or variable value in the program itself. So it is passed from the some other programs, or it can be passed by user as well. So that is the use of parameter passing. Like, if I open this program, you all can see at the starting of the program, we are declaring some parameters using the PARM. So we are passing three parameters here, which is number one, ampersand number two, and ampersand operator. So reason of creating this program is just to show you the working of CL program. the overall workflow. And we can say like this program is doing nothing, just taking the input from user, like the first number, the second number, and doing some operations on that. And here we can see we have declared four variables, two variables to storing the number, or we can say the operands, one variable to store the result, that is also decimal with the length of 10 and 0 decimal places, and one variable with operator. It is storing the operator, exact operator, like the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. These are the operators. And we are using this variable with the length of one character, right? And after that, we are using the send user PGM, which shows the result on the console screen. And we are just storing the number two, and the operator. And after performing the conditional operation, so here we have the select statement, or we can say select command. So these commands generally do when operation. So if we heard about this when, it is quite similar to if else condition. So if else condition is the conditions where we have some condition on the if. If that is not true, we will go for the else condition. In this case, when we have multiple values, so what exactly we are doing? We are doing some operations, like we are verifying this condition. If operator value, or we can say ampersand operator value is addition sign, then we have to do this. So this select also include do. So do is used for the loop process, or we can say for the looping purpose. So we have to do this operation if the condition is true. In the same manner, we have the second condition, the third condition, the fourth condition. Here's the fourth condition. So whatever condition is true, we are performing the change variable. We are storing the variable information, or we can say variable value in this variable ampersand result, and the actual calculation part, which is number two, and the operations between them. And after that, it ends with the and select. So select will start with this line number 15 and end with the end select on the line number 28. So after all of these things, like the resultant will be shown, and here's the process of showing the resultant. Like firstly, we are just showing the result, and after that the result value and this. So let's run this and we'll see the result. All right. So the calling part is quite different for this. We can take call and then F4. Otherwise, we can just use the shortcut method, which is C and F4. In this, we have to press the parameter. So for that, we can just write plus symbol, or we can say addition symbol here to see all parameters. So we can specify more and more parameters here. So let's start with the parameter. So the first value, like suppose we are giving the 100 in the first operand. It is a decimal in the nature. The length is 5 with the decimal place 0. The second is also 100. Decimal 5, 0. Paste down for the next parameter. So here we have to pass the operator, which is a character of length 1. Enter, enter. So here you all can see a job will be triggered for using this program. After that, it will show the output. The number 1 is 100, number 2, which is also 100, and the operator, which is plus the resultant, which is 100 plus 100, 200. Quite simple program, but we learn the parameter passing concept here. So that is the good thing. So we will move to the next program. I have one more program for all of you. So the day-to-day task in which whenever we are logging to the AS400 screen or AS400 system, So we have to set up the library list. So this is a quite simple program in which we are passing the parameter, uh, the actual name of library. And in this program, basically this add library list command using to add the library at the top of library list, and then just show the library added. So I'm not running this program because we already have the library list set up. So I'm not doing any change on that. But it is quite simple. Like day-to-day tasks, we also include in here. Suppose in the early morning when you're logging on the screen, you have to do some regular task or regular operations, like 4 or 5 operations you are doing on the regular basis. So you can write a CL program for that and just run it at the early of your day whenever you start, and all your operations will be automated. So that is the beauty. All right. Let's move to the slides again. Data area. Data area in IBM system, we all can relate this as a container. Like you have a container for storing some kind of things, or we can some kind of information for a temporary purpose. So that is the container. It is small. It is used to store a small amount of data, and that data can be a counter, a flag, a status information, some configurations information. So that kind of information generally we will store in data area. And why we need to store this? Like whenever a program or a job is running, so it generates some values or generates some outputs. So just to store the output for a temporary purpose, which is used for some other operations, so we can utilize the data area here. All right. The types of data area will be divided upon on the basis of their operations, or we can say the functions that we use on the data area. So generally the main use of data area is we have to create the user defined data area, in which we are creating some applications and we are including the data area just to store some information. Suppose in this example, like we are storing some company names when we are performing a batch jobs. So we have a huge number of jobs which is running using a CL program, and all the jobs with generating some of the values. So just for a counter purpose, we are just storing the company names or some information in the data area that can be utilized later as well. All right. So that is a user defined data area that we create for our own purpose. Local data area. So, like for the automated purpose, like when the automated jobs are running, so these are just created for a temporary purpose when the job is running, and at the end of the job, it will be also cleared. So, group data area, it is quite similar to the local data area. Just a small difference between both of them is, um, it is running with the batch jobs or batch processing. So we are just using multiple data areas for that. Last but not the least is the permanent defined data area, which is quite quite used in the AS400 system, because when the system level configurations of the jobs are running, it is using this permanent data area that we cannot modify, but the system will be utilize all those data areas in their process. Let's see some more about the data area, which are the commands of data area. So we can say like 4 major commands we can perform on the data areas, which is start with the creating a data area under a library, retrieving some information, or we can say sub values from the data area. We can change the data area value using the chg dta ara, and also when no longer needed the data area, we can delete it using dlt dta ara. All right. Some we have some examples of data area as well. Before that, just let me tell you the use of data area. So as I mentioned, like we can store some information like some flag information, some status indicators. So some kind of information we can store, some counter values, the configuration values. So that also we can use in the data area. Example of creating the data area is here. You all can see like using the CRT DTA ARA. After that, we have some attributes which is DTA ARA. and we are passing the a library name and the data area name, whatever data area we want to create. It is a type of character and a length of 10 characters. So in this way, like we can create the data area. After that, if we want to store some information, you can use the change data area, and that will be change the actual value which will be passed in this value attribute, and it is completed like in this example. So this completed value will be stored in this my data area, or like this data area, my data. And after that, we can retrieve the information as well under a specific variable as well. So in this way, ampersand status will capture the actual data area value. So quite simple. Let's see some examples as well for data area. So here we can see like the data area. This is the program which actually creates the data area. So all you are now understand like what this PGM is and this end PGM, because at the starting and the ending of the program or the CL program, we have to write this just to show, just to make sure like this is the initial point of the programming and this is the end point. Um, After that, we are using the CRT DTA. Let me open this in the edit mode. It will be quite easy. So CTA DTA ARA, it is used for creating the data area, this command, and it has some attributes like this DTA area, which is in which we have to pass the data area name, the type of exact data area, and the length of how much amount of information it will be captured. This text is we can say like it is a description, like generally what purpose of the data area we are creating. So we are just storing like data area created through CLLE programming, just for the reference. After that, this program also contains a command which is check object. So in this using this command, like we can check like if this data area exists, then we can perform some operation. So after check data area, or sorry, after checking the data area, we are just it can be an error, it can be just a status message, and it is a succeed message. So this type of messages would be captured using this mon message. So generally mon message is used for the error handling, but it is not just for the error handling, it is also monitoring the actual messages, whatever the program will generates. So we will learn about more on this mon message, but just for the reference, I'm just putting like if some kind of message ID is generated like this CPF 9801. So so basically we can execute some do operations like if this message will be triggered. So just do this operation and send user message will show the actual message, which is data area not found or not created. If that is the case, like the message, the data area is created successfully, so it will show directly jump to this and it will show data area created. And if the data area is not created, so this go to statement, or we can say go to command, will be used just to call or just to move the control to this lib. Just a second. Okay. Sorry for the glitch, everyone. I'm gonna again share the screen. Right. Um, just give me a second. Let me just log into the credentials. Just give me a second. Okay. So yeah, we are connected now again. So just quickly sharing my screen again. All right. So I've shared my screen. Okay. Right. It is like screen is got freezed and we have to again show you one program, um, which is this one, which I have not showed you to run. So we're gonna just pass the library name to add the library at the top of library list. So let me show you the library right away. So right now these two libraries are here, which is GPL and QTemp. So if I call it and pass the library name, mm, it is good if you can pass on the single quotes, and it is a character with the 10 length. Library is added. So if I show you again the library, so all you can see INT added on the library list. All right, so we are just seeing the data area. So we will continuation on that. Let me run the data area program. All right, so data area is now created. I have a second program. In this program, um, basically we that we created, we are just performing some change operation on that, and we are just showing the some information. So we are passing the parameter here in the data, ampersand data variable, and we are just storing the information in the data area. So let me just show you. So I'm just calling this in the same manner. I hope everyone is now quite familiar with this method. And plus, so in this, I can pass the anything like we can show just testing or training. It is a character of 20 length. Enter. So now you can see this is the actual data area. Here is the text that we passed from the first program. Data area is now created for the reference purpose. And here is the actual value of the data area. Just training. If I dry run this program, so there are two commands, which is ched dta ara and dsp dta ara. So this command generally used for changing the value of data. So whatever the in ampersand data contains the actual value, it is changed in the data area. And DSP data area, it is really common when we have to show the data area value or the information. So we can just use this both two commands, except that the program is quite similar with the last program that I show. All right, so let's again jump to the our slides. So next is file handling. Um, Hope my screen is visible to all. So file handling in CL programming. Um, when we are saying file handling, it is the operations or the manipulation on the database files. Like when we are doing some program execution and we have to use the some information or we have to use records of the database, we can use or we can include those files in our CL programming. So that is just the file operations, or we can say self file handling on CL. So when we are saying the operations, it means like retrieving the records, processing the data, or closing the files. So those are the file operations, we can say. Okay, so key operations on the CL programming. Quite simple, but if I say um, just give me a second. Like the opening the file, reading the file, writing the file, deleting the file. So these are the operations. Let's start with the opening the file. Like we can use the OVRDBF and OpenQuery file to read and some do some operations on the file. But you are new with the OVRDBF and OpenQuery. You will learn in this further slides. So don't take a headache for that. Here is an example of OVRDBF and OpenQuery file. Um, So in this way, like we can override the actual file. The purpose of overriding the file we will discuss in the further slides. So just keep patience for that. For now, like opening a file is an operation. Reading the record is also an operation. Reading the record using RCVF, which is receive file. And we have an example here for that. You can see like RCVF with the mon message. So generally this mon message we use for the just reading the end of the file. If the end of the file will be triggered, so there will be some tough, issues or error will be triggered. So mon message will capture that and we can perform some um, operations. Okay. Um, to the next slide, on the continuation of that, processing the records, that is the purpose of the file operations, like we are doing some operations on that. So that is just the processing the actual records, and writing the file. So this send file is, we cannot say like it is directly depends on the file operations, because when we are using this send snd file operation, or we can say send file key command, so it can be say like on the output files or the display files. You will learn about the display file in the further sessions. So that is just a thing in which we can do some user operations on the actual GUI screen, or we can say some CUI screen. So that is the thing. Um, Closing the file is the last operation on the file operation, in which we have to delete the override functionality and close the file, the open file, so that if other can open it, so it will be open without any issue. Let me show you some example quickly of file handling. So here the program start again with the PGM keyword. It is checking the, so if the operation if the physical file is not available, so directly it will show us like physical file is not exist, and it will end the CL program. If that is not the case, so it will perform some operations. This run query, all of you are quite aware of this, RUNQRY. This keyword is generally used to show the actual data of physical file. After that, like we are doing some run SQL as well. This command is quite really helpful when we are doing the CL programming, because it integrates the the SQL in the CL program. So you all can, you all are aware of this SQL, like we have some query language. By using that, we can perform the file operations, or we can say some manipulations on the file. We can create, we can add it, we can do some operations on the file. So for the purpose of all of this thing, we can use the SQL. So run SQL is used to just execute the SQL statement on the behalf of some file. And in this case, we are inserting some records in the file. And after that, we are showing the data. So this program is just showing the file information. Like firstly, we don't have anything on the file, so it will show the blank file. After that, it will insert two records, and after that it will shown up the resultant file. So let me just call it. See, firstly, it is shows the blank file. After that, press enter to insert the data. If I press enter, so it is showing two records we are added on the file. 10 Ankit, 20 Rohit. So these two records are added. The second program is also, we can say, the quite similar to that. We are just doing some update operation on the file. So all of you are already aware of this statement, the first initial statement. So I'm just explaining you the what exactly this program is doing. So we are performing some operations on the file, and the update operation generally we can say. So whatever the count of the exact records we have, it is changing the ID, where the ID is 10. Quite complex, but it is as simple as it is looking complex. If I run this, so let's just check the it is if it is have any parameters. So no, it don't have any parameters, so you can call it die. So using C and enter, you can call it. So firstly, it is show 10 Ankit, 20 Rohit. And we have two records. So wherever the 10 ID, or we can say the 10 present in the ID, so it will change with the number of records. So you all can see like we have 10 in the first record. So the total number of records are 2. So ID will be 2. If I press enter to update the data, and you all can see like the ID is 2 changed for the Ankit. After that, we have some programs. So before moving to that, so just I will show the next slides. So here is an example of file operations on the CL uh, program. So OVRDBF file is generally used when we have to override the file with some different names so that the actual file will be safe and we can perform the operations on the overridden file. OpenQuery file, we can say like we are just performing some operations on the file on a logical view of the file so that actual file will be prevented. So that is the way like we can perform the OVRDBF and OpenQuery. So we will see more about this in the upcoming slide. Before that, let me just dry run this example. So it is creating the this variable with the ampersand customer ID, and we are performing some loop operations using the RCVF. So this RCVF is responsible for retrieving the records. It will retrieve the records line by line, and whatever the records we have, so it will show on the user screen using this send PGM message, and this star cat is used for the concatenation purpose. Catenation purpose, we can say, like where we are just merging the actual string with the variable value. So in this way, like we are just retrieving the value of customer ID, and whatever customer's IDs are present in the file, it will show one by one, line by line, until the end of file. Once the end of file will be reached, so the overridden will be override the file is has been finished, and we can say like the overridden will be deleted and end of the program will happen. Let's see the error handling in CL program. So we are saying the error handling, so it is like handling the errors effectively. And when we are saying effectively, it means like make sure any without interruption of program will be executed without any issues. And to prevent the uninterrupted issues, we use the keyword which is mon message. So how this error handling works in CL program? Basically, the mon message is the power of CL program which capture the messages, or we can say the resultant of any program. So it can be succeed, it can be a warning, it can be some information value, or it can be an error. So all of these things will be captured from mon message. So um, using the mon message, like it works like a listener, which is always active if we place in this program. And if any specific type of error or a generic type of error will be triggered, so it will just capture that particular error, and or we can say just mark it as uh, true, and some operations will be performed on the basis of that. All right. Type of errors. See, in the CL program, we have multiple types of error, but generally we can say command errors, file handling errors, and runtime errors. When we are saying command errors, it means like some file is not found, or some access denied, or something like that. Like commands are basically failed. File handling operations, it means some record locks or something on the files will be handled by using the one message. And runtime error is nothing but the logical uh, errors, we can say, which is uh, which we generally face unexpectedly when the program is running. So that is runtime error. All right. So here we have an example also. Before that, let's see the two types, or we can say two ways of handling the errors. First one is the specific error. We can monitor the specific error. So a specific message ID, we can specifically monitor a particular error. And the second method is the generic method, in which we have the CPF 0000 that captures all type of messages, we can say, of all type of errors, to prevent some critical issues and just to stop the program properly. Um, in this way, you can see here we have two examples. First one is to we have some files are not present in the library, so it will we can say this message under this message ID, like some operations will be performed, and this do we already aware like it is a looping in purpose. So we are just executing the do and performing some operations if this mon message mark as true. And the here on the right side, you can see some different example, like at the time of file handling when we are receiving the file. So suppose we reach the end of the file or something like this type of errors will be handled. So at that time, like we generally want to stop the program or we say, skip the actual control to a specific path. So that type of things will be handled by uh, mon message as well. So these are two examples, and error handling strategies also, like program exit program gracefully, like I already mentioned, like by closing all the files, all the resource locks, and removing all the file locks, we can close the program. Retry some operations like on the loop. By using the loops, we can retry the file locks. Suppose we have file locks, we can perform some operations to remove the file locks, and after that we can again process the same type of operation. For logging the errors, like if we are getting multiple types of error, we can log those as well. So to help on logging the messages or logging the errors, we can use mon message, like whatever type of mon message will be triggered. So it will be store some log information in some files. So that is helpful when we are doing the auditing or debugging. All right. Before moving to override, let me show you an example of error message. So here we have one program for handling errors. So this program generally do capture two types of error: the generic one, which is the program level errors, and the command level errors. So for the command level errors, we can say it is the specific type of error will be captured. So here you can see one variable is created, and this variable is basically a number variable. And after that, we are handling all the program level errors using this. If the program level errors will be triggered, so directly it will go to the error section and shows the error occurred in the program in the line number 16, and it will end the program. If that is not the case, so it will go for the command level error checking, in which it is checking for a specific type of error. In this case, this std is an object which is in the library. This, if this object is not available, so it will say object not found, and it will show some numeric value as well using this two lines, and after that it will close to the end of the program. So it will go to the end label. So labeling is also a part of CL programming. We can do the labeling for just for referencing purpose and just moving the control to a specific label. So that is labeling. So just calling this, I know the actual object is not present in the library, so it will definitely show the specific type of error. Just for the sake of showing the program, I just do this. All right, let's move to the override file. So override file, we can say like override file is used when we have to do some temporary changes on the attribute of database files. So in this way, like we can just override the specific file under a different name. So purpose of override file is like it is flexible, temporary changes, and dynamic file handling. So when we are saying flexible, like we can perform the overridden functions on the multiple file members without changing the actual source of that. And temporary changes, like the actual file will be present safe, and at the end of the job we can just restore the actual file. Dynamic file handling, like it is quite similar, like when we are doing multiple files on the batch processes, so we can handle that because we have the ability of overriding the actual file. Key parameters, or we can say key attributes of override file. So generally, like when we are defining the override file, so first thing that we have to show is file, or we can say we have to pass the actual file name that we want to override. then to file, which is used in the second as a second name for the file. So it will create a reference for that particular we can say file. It can be the same name, but the references will be different. So in this way, like we can pass the to file name. After that, the actual member, like it can be the first member of the file, it can be the last member, and a specific member we can pass. So any member, like we can override on the specific member as well. The share path is also like if there is having any record on the record log on the file or file logs when the some other users are also using, so we can mark this as a star yes for the sharing purpose, so that we can also open the file without changing the actual file. So that is the beauty of CL program, like we can override the file as well. um if we say the basics and of override file, so uh, it used the override file, then to file, then the member name. As you mentioned in the previous slide, these are the key parameters of that. So it's simple, like this file will boost, and some new file will be named as this file. So quite simple. Let's see the example. We can learn, or we can say understand about the override file quickly by using this example. So using the OVRDBF file, so we are just overriding the actual data, this backup file. So the actual file will be overridden by a backup file, and we can perform the operations on that. So in this way, like we can open the database file by OPNDBFF on some order files, we can say. So this actual file will be named as now orders. After that, we can use the receive file to retrieve the data, and after retrieving all and go to the end of the file, it will close the file and delete the override. Make sure you will delete the override before ending the program. Okay. Common scenarios of using the override is backup and restore. For the purpose of backup and restore, we have multiple ones of backup files, so we can use the override file. Test environment for the like when we are doing some testing, so prevent the actual live data, we can use the test this override functionality. Member level override is used when we have multiple members of the file and we just want to override a specific member for that file. So in this way, like we can override the files. um let's see the next slide, which is open query file. Okay, so open query file is just a temporary view of that file, or we can say logical view of that file, so that we can perform some operations, or we can say on the basis of some operations or some filtering options or some criterias, we can retrieve the records. So it is just a logical view of that file, so the actual file will be prevented. The purpose of open query file is to dynamically select the actual um, file data, and basically we can perform some complex queries also. Suppose like we have some employee data and we want to fetch for a specific employees. Suppose in our company want to fetch the data of Rohit. So we can just open the file basis on some specific query, or we can say basis on some filtration criteria or selection criteria. So for only for the Rohit, it will be fetched. When using effective batch processing, like when we have huge amount of data, so it will be created a logical view with a small amount of data, so that the processing will be overall uh, easy, or we can say we can utilize the time as well. Um, After that, let's see the key parameters for open query file. So it will be the file actual file name. After that, the selection criteria. So it is like a where clause in the SQL. So quite similar to that. Then we have the key field. If we want to select or record the records using a specific sequence, so we can place the key field. The format as well also. Like we have the different formats, so we can specify the formats as well. The basic syntax of the open query file is the OPNQRYF. So we are just using this command to open the actual file. Here we have the example in which we have the orders file under my name lib. query selection, in which we are selecting all the orders which have the status open under a specific key field. So it will be just shown a data on the basis of whenever the status of is open, so it will show all of the data for that, and it is sorted by the order date as it is the key field for that. And a common use of open query file is dynamically record filtering. Means like we have different ways to filter the records on the basis of some values or some information or some records. So we can filter like if the orders are not available, or if we say the employees or the student data. So for the for some like those students which have marks above a limit, so we can just filter the data on the basis of that. So we have multiple filtering options, we have sorting options. In this case you can see like here is an example in which we are just fetching the sales of some year, and we are just doing some selection criteria also, like the when we want to just fetch the information where the year is greater than 2020, or we can say like after the 2020 data it will be fetched that. So it is fetching on the descending order, so we can place the descent keyword as well. And joining operations also quite easy with this file. So here is an example of the query selection. We can place the join operation as well on the basis of any specific key field. We can perform the join operation as well. In this case, customer number is key. Right, so we can also perform the error handling using this open query file as well. So um, like when we are opening the file, it can be happen like have multiple types of errors while opening the file. Suppose we don't have type records, or we can say we don't have any type of column that we are using in the query selection. So all these errors, so we can capture it using the mon message as well. So here is an example for the same as well. So we will see the combination of OVRDBF and open query as well. So it is quite simple, like we are just overriding a file, and after on the overrided file, we are performing some query operations, or we can say we are opening that file under a selected or under a specific order. So in this way, like we can say like we can combination of the file can be happen. So we will see the example for this, but before that, make sure the here's an example OVRDB. All right. So in this, uh, see, it is just reading file, student file, and quite simple program. Like we are just using the override functionality and reading the file, and after that we are just deleting the over functionality. So open query file. Let's show you the program for that. All right. So in this program, we are just firstly overriding file. It is an example combination of the override and open query file. So we are just overriding the actual file. After that, we are performing some query selection on that. So we are selecting the department RPG. So whatever the employees have the department RPG, so that will be patched. And in this way, like we are just handling the errors as well. And if there is some errors, or we don't have some errors, so it will go to here, and it will show the employees data. And this cat I've already mentioned for the concatenating purpose, we can use this. And go to the loop to again and again read the next and next records. So until the end of the file, it will be read it, and after that it will close the file and delete the override functionality, and that's it. And let me call this program as well. So the first record is Ankit, department RPG. The second ID is 102, Rajesh, RPG. and the third ID is John RPG. All right. Let's see. We already see the combination of this override and open query. So just let me give you some more idea on that. So why we are using this? So handling the multiple file versions, we can use the combination of the files so that the exact file will be same, the live file will be same, and we can perform on the override function files some operations, and we can perform some query selection as well on that file that we already show on the example. Selection and selective processing is the way we can say we can select specific records from the file under a specific criteria or sorting that particular record. So that operations we can do without doing any additional logic on the file. So that is also a quite good way. Like if we don't have this query file or over DBF, then it is quite complex, or we can say critical process, because we have to write the logic in the program itself. But it is doing really, really good job for us. Handling the large file data, as I already mentioned, if we have a huge number of data, so we can capture it using this. Right, so here is an example we already show on the green screen, but let me show you just here. We have override functionality on an invoices file. After that, we are just doing some query selection. So we are selecting those customers which have customer 1, 2, 3, and we are sorting it on the invoice state in the descending order. After that, we have the receive file to receive it under the end of this file, and all the records will be fetched line by line. After that, we will just close this file and delete the override functionality. Quite simple. When you will do the programming, you will face some type of errors and some type of issues, but keep patience, ask your doubts, ask your issues, and just do on the regular basis. You will definitely crack this out. Um, Conclusion of this session is CL programming. So CL programming is quite a powerful tool for us. It is doing really, really good job for us. We are doing automation of the tasks, controlling the jobs, managing the system resources effectively. Takeaways, what we exactly learn from this session, we can say, like we can perform the file handling operations. We have two type of technologies, and now you are the master of these two technologies, which is override DBF and open query file. You have to practice on this. Error handling. We have the very, very good way of monitoring the message, which is mon message. So we can monitor in that, and without any interruption, your all program will be run if you use the mon message. Lastly, over DBF and open query, as I mentioned, like you are now the master of this. So just practice on that. Just crack this out. See all the operations or all the functionality that are available for this over DBF and open query file. And lastly, I can say, like, use the CL program to enhance your performance, because really, really the CL programs help us a lot, and you will see lot of challenges here. But using the CL program, you can automate all your challenges, you can automate all your process, and effectively you can perform your programming concepts. So for now, I can say like that the end of the session. Now it's your turn. You can ask all your queries. It is now the Q&A part. And I can say sorry for everyone for the glitch for 1 or 2 minutes in the session. It can be happen with anyone. So sorry for that. And everyone, now you can ask your queries, questions, doubts, and me and my entire team will help you to sort this out and answer all of your queries as much as we can possible. So I would request, like we have the all the, we can say, uh, material available on the ebook site, so all can reach out here, and you can all can check the codes as well as the some concept of CL programming. I would say, like, if you are master in CL programming, you can handle your programs effectively, and you can perform multi operations, or we can say multi program processing easily if you master on the CL part. So hope everyone enjoy this today's session. Just be practice, keep patience, and if anyone have any more doubts, just ask us. If no one have any doubts, so we will meet on the next session. Thank you, everyone. All right, I can see you. Thank you, sir. Okay. We are end of this session. Like if anyone don't have any doubts, like CLE is quite similar, we can say. We don't have any difference on that. So CL is the same. Um, I cannot see any questions. I can see like thank you for all this appreciation. Like just you all have to keep practice on this, and just if you have any doubts, you can ask in the next further session as well. So just note your all doubts and just keep in patience and keep learning, keep exploring. I hope you all have enjoyed this session. So we will wait for a minute. After that, we will end this session.